Hello and welcome to Cuesta Sports Monthly, an in-depth look at Cuesta athletics. I'm your host, Peter Schuler, and we are glad to be back after our year-and-a-half hiatus. We opened the season with 3 of Cuesta's fall teams, both men's and women's cross country and women's volleyball. We'll then turn and talk with mathematics professor and assistant cross country coach Mike Kinter. So right now here on Cuesta Sports Monthly, it's women's volleyball, Coach Whitney Meyer, and outside hitter Christelle Murray. Welcome, Coach. Welcome, Christelle. Glad to have you join us here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. Season's off to a start right now. Your last 2 Friday games have been canceled, though. But how do you feel the season's coming back full bore right now?
I think it's been just a great change of pace to have 2 matches a week and get to do our road trips and kind of just have that rhythm. Normally, we're used to lots of performance and getting feedback, and it's been great.
So you kind of have a mixture of old and new this year. You have some people back for their 3rd year because they took that COVID redshirt year, and you had a couple people back from last year who were true freshmen then, but also have that year back. How's that mixing together with all those new players?
It's been a good bond. We had the summer to train together, so the month of July was all the introductions and kind of melding our group. We have great leadership from our 3rd year athletes that you're talking about, and our girls who experienced last season with the COVID year. They know the procedures, they know our offensive systems, and they're able to kind of lead the charge on that. It's been really good to have that leadership.
Now, Christelle, you kind of came in last spring, and you're one of the most productive players on the team right away. You come in this year, your kind of roles changed a little bit. How do you feel about the team outlook? How do you feel about having all these new players?
New players are amazing. They have such drive and such passion that they bring to the team that we came from, 10 players last year to having 16, just having so many different skill sets to really push out the win that we need.
Now you're kind of doing like you had 5 aces in your last game. Do you feel like something like passing and serving has really developed over that short time?
I think that over the past few years, with my height, I've had to learn how to not only be able to hit the ball but also pass the ball, so I can make sure I get that playing time. And if putting aces in the court is what gets the team the win, then I'll be there for them, and I'll do that for them.
Now, you have a good group here. What was it like recruiting during COVID? I mean, you have a lot of newcomers coming in. How did that work?
So a lot of uncertainty, very late start with recruiting. Players weren't just not ready to commit. They didn't know what was going to happen the next day. So we have a lot more local talent this year, and I think that's due to the fact people being more interested in staying close to home. And I think it's been great. It's made a lot of support for them as they make the transition to college.
Now, one of the things that's kind of been, for a long time ago, Cuesta College or San Luis Obispo County was kind of a mecca for volleyball. And I was kind of throwing a couple of questions in here, but do you think that can happen again? Cal Poly seems to be stepping up with their volleyball, and especially their beach. The idea of getting beach here and some of those things, Pismo used to have a great invitational every year. What do you see for San Luis Obispo County, Cuesta College, Cal Poly with volleyball coming up in the future?
Yeah,
that's a big question.
That's a great point, though. In community college athletics, I like the fact that it is members of your own community, girls from your local high schools that make up our team, and I don't want to see that change. So as far as bringing in, this mecca of athletes from all over the state, I don't really think that's our mission. Our goal is to serve the athletes that are here, and I'd love to be able to continue to retain local talent. In our beach program, we've made a little bit of progress on that. We're currently developing the curriculum for the intercollegiate course, and my goal, which I hope our administration can do as well, is 2023. So.
Now, talking about staying local, you're from local high school just up the road. What was the transition like for you going from there to here?
Going from Morro Bay to Cuesta was definitely a change of environment. I think that it went from pretty much playing volleyball to being competitive in playing volleyball. I come to practice every day, and coach, her favorite thing is get the work done. You're out of here once you finish. It's no longer just going with the flow. It's playing until you get the job done.
So kind of the intensity. This
The
is, I mean, the
intensity,
college
exactly.
level where nobody's really holding your hand. She's using her
Yeah,
hand to push you.
you gotta do
Is
it
that kind of
yourself.
how it works?
Exactly, you gotta do it yourself. There's no hand holding here.
All right. Well, this year's team, what do you think is the best thing about this team? You talked a little bit about the depth and the new players. What do you think you guys kind of bring as a group?
I think it's gonna be our passion. Yes, we have amazing skill, but when we need it, we come together and we do it. We use the drive and the love we have for the sport, which you can't find everywhere. You can't force passion. You can't force love for something. So if you're able to use that to finish a game and to be able to do it, then we have a great shot at a championship, I think.
All right. All right. Now, what do you think when you tell somebody, and we talked about a little difficulty of recruiting COVID, but you wanted to stay local, what's the best thing, the best advice you have for a kid who's coming to Cuesta?
Well, the best advice in general is to get involved, and I think I always encourage student athletes to continue to play their sport because it helps you be connected to the campus community. It gives you instant, peer group for resources with tutoring, and I think being a student athlete, we do guide them in a way that gives them access to the library and Student Success Center and counseling and financial aid and all of that. So I always think it's a great asset for them to continue their sport.
Now, coming out of the COVID year, you guys have kind of, you made it through last year. You got your games in. What are the things that you think you've gained through this, and what are the things that you've, really feel that you've missed, and what are the things that you've kind of earned or learned from this pandemic?
I'll start, but I think we learned the value of having the opportunity to come play together. There were so many times in the last year that we had pauses, we had exposure, and it kept getting taken away from us. And I think that passion that Christelle is talking about and that love for the sport, you missed it. You really missed your friends on your team, and there was just now they show up very happy to be there and just thankful for the opportunity.
I think like Whitney said, it's definitely, you never knew if you were going to come back that next day. Because you could get a text, hey, we're canceled, can't come back. But it's also just that group. It's the girls that we're able to bond with over this year we've been together that not many people can relate to, which really makes us play, I think, even better.
All right, so we have time for one more question for each. The first one, why volleyball? Your sister played here. She was an all-conference water polo player. What was the change for you?
I'm a type of person where I like to be motivated. I like the feeling of having control but also playing a team sport. And I think volleyball, something just gravitated me towards it. The idea of hitting a ball or keeping the ball up just really took me by surprise and made me feel happy. And it was just that idea that I could just keep getting better. It doesn't matter your height, it doesn't matter your size, doesn't matter who you are, you can still find a way to play.
All right.
There's always a spot for you.
Whitney, I'll ask you my last question off camera, but for now, we'll get ready here for cross country coming up. We'd like to thank Coach Whitney Meyer and outside hitter Christelle Moret for joining us here. When we come back, it's with the Harriers cross country from Cuesta College when we return with Cuesta Sports Monthly.
Great job, guys.
All right, this last one is for my niece. We're back on campus with cross country. Welcome Harriers Dulce Esquivel and Jordan Riley to Cuesta Sports Monthly. Welcome Jordan. Welcome Dulce. You guys have off and running literally so far this year. Dulce, you got a pretty strong women's team. We had a good track season with them last year. What's the team looking like this year for you?
The team's looking really good. We've got some really good freshmen, not just like competitively, but they're like on top of their stuff, like doing a lot of recovery, ice baths, doing cross training with swimming. Overall, we have some really good ladies this year.
You're feeling pretty good as a group.
Yeah.
You just had you got a couple of meets this week.
Yeah, we have a
So
meet in Santa Clarita this Saturday. I think we're going to do really good. I've been putting in the work.
All right. Now, Jordan, guys are in a little different situation. You got 5 guys.
A little sparse in our numbers, but I think we're doing really good for ourselves right now. Everybody's been working really hard, and I've seen everybody improve a lot lately, and I'm really impressed with all of our boys. And I think we have a chance to make it to state, to be honest. But
Small but mighty type of thing.
small but mighty, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you guys had your first race out there at Fairbanks Cross Country Course.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Is it an advantage having a course like that at home? When you go to the other courses, some of them are flatter. What are you a hiller or are you a straightaway? What do you guys like to see out there?
I'm very much a hill guy. I like going up fast and beat them up on the uphill and just ride high till I die.
Kind of wish we still had the tower as part of the course out there.
A little bit, yeah. But I love the Fairbanks course. It's nothing like home, You got that advantage. You can just, when to kick, when to really start going, while everybody else just is like, where am I? What mile is this? They're lost in the sauce, but we're ready to go.
Now, Fairbanks was your first course, right?
Yeah, that was my first ever cross-country course. Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm a hill person, going up and not going down. Still got to learn that. But yeah, going up those hills is nice.
Yeah.
Now, what do we know what's going to be happening in this next course? I mean,
well, we're actually split up for once in our lives. The girls are going to
Right.
Santa Clarita, and we are going to Bakersfield. So we race tomorrow, and they race Saturday. And I'm pretty sure we have like a grassy hill, kind of like rolling hills going up and down.
right, the Hart Park, I think they used to have a soccer field there, and I
Yeah.
think that was kind of that. And then you're competing with the Masters.
Yeah, we're going to be in Santa
Well, that sounds
Clarita.
intimidating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
go to
is.
the
We'll have
Masters.
some D1 schools there, so that'll be exciting. It's about 65% rolling hills course. So yeah, we just got to be prepared.
Now, to kind of go back a little bit to last spring, you didn't get to run cross country.
No.
You missed. They only had the one meet.
Yeah.
And you're out for that. But when you got into track, you really kind of blossomed there. You made finals, first or second in 4 events: the 800, the 1500, the 5,000, and 10,000
Yeah.
in conference. That's a pretty impressive span right there. Where do you feel you're best at? The shorter distances or longer distances?
I'd like to say the 15, but I think Loco might argue the 10K. But yeah, I think 15, it's like long enough, but it's short enough. But yeah.
Now, and a lot of those runners are back for the cross country this year. You guys kind of feel for each other and kind of get together in that pack. You can kind of do that.
Hopefully.
There's some memorable faces from
Yeah.
track and stuff, But yeah, it's been going good.
Now, how about you, Jordan? Do you agree? Do you think last year having just that one track cross country meet and a couple of track meets, that gave you a big advantage coming into this year?
Honestly, I have to
You
say,
take too much time off in the summer.
it really, I think having a little bit of cross country going into track was like super good for me, because then it's just like you're cutting down mileage, but you like build up a little, but then like you're just all speed at the end, and then you can just kick out some good miles.
Now, you came down here from St. Helena. What was kind of the draw for you of coming here to Cuesta College?
I've always wanted to go to community college because I didn't know what I want to do, and I really love the San Luis Obispo area. There's no bad weather days in SLO. It's been just, every day has been super nice, and I'm loving it here, and it's been one of the best decisions I've made.
You had a pretty successful career up there in high school. You're all CIF and went to the state. Did you find that's transitioning well to community college?
Yeah, it's like the perfect step right now. Like, this is what I needed. I think I can go to the next level with the work I do here right now.
And do you think you'll be going?
That's the goal.
We talked earlier, but originally you were looking at Davis or Santa Barbara, but you're kind of
wherever they take me. But right now maybe I'll go to Irvine because they have some cool science stuff there. So I'm all about an anteater, exactly.
Now, how about you, Dulcie? I mean, you came in here. You're coming into your freshman year. Going to be staying for your full sophomore year, or is this are you looking to transfer as well?
I'm planning on transferring in the fall, hopefully Westmont. I've gotten a few offers, but still waiting on that Westmont offer.
What was that draw for Westmont? Is it a smaller school, or is it close to home? What was the thing?
Yeah, it's close to home, and it's like kind of by the beach. It's located in Santa Barbara. They have a really great kinesiology program, so that would be ideal for me.
Now, both of you are kind of into swimming. I saw that on your thing. So you like swimming. You said ocean swimming, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
Are there aspirations? Can you ride a bike? Are your aspirations for triathlons or anything like that, or just
Further down the line, I would like to hit a triathlon, but right now I've been hitting the pool. Tuesday I swam a mile, so that was pretty big. So it's been really helping with running. It's really the secret to running is swimming.
you kind of stretch it out the
Yeah.
muscles a little bit?
Well, it's just
takes a
like,
little-
you know, running, you get to breathe all the time. Swimming, you get to breathe half the time. So,
All right.
you know, you do the math.
So there's the difference. You don't have the pounding, but you don't have the breathing.
Exactly.
Is that kind of?
Yeah, exactly.
And like the different ways it's like plays onto your body. It's not as harsh.
Different
You don't
muscle
have
groups.
that stomping all the time.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I
Yeah.
can understand that. Now, when we get back, this track season, where you guys are kind of doing the distances. But if you were going to do a field event, what do you think you'd want to do?
I think I know my answer. I would go for shot put. Let's do it. You know, I might be a little frail, but you know, I got guns on this guy, so I'm ready to throw some shot put if coach will let me. But that's a lot of effort. But I don't know, maybe some jumping too. But you know, mostly running is pretty
Hammer
much.
seems like you get all
Hammer,
wrapped up
yeah, I
and
might
stuff
throw
like
out
that.
my
Could be-
hip or something.
all right.
Yeah, kind of dangerous.
Yeah, me, maybe long jump. I tried it a bit in high school, wasn't too good at it, but I mean, yeah, that would be fun. Or steeplechase, which that's not really a field event, but jumping into that water
That's true.
sounds kind of
But
fun.
then you might swim.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, forte.
Yeah, it's kind of high up, but it's a risk I will take.
Yeah.
So the pandemic, we could talk about, about what it takes away and what we've kind of lost and stuff like that. But what are those things that you've seen that have come out of here that have been good? I mean, not just things that you've lost, but things that have been positive for you guys coming out of this.
Well, I think, you know, at first of the pandemic, it's like, what am I doing? No more practice, no more like going to school. It's like I'm really lost out there by myself. But once I came here last November, it's been really good to just like train with people, and I feel like everybody's hungry for the race right now, and like ready to go again because we just had a long time of not going.
I
So-
just really appreciate
Yeah.
the things you're
Uh-huh.
getting,
Yeah.
kind of coming back into the thing.
Yeah, and there's advantages that we've had over like other schools that weren't training during those times. And it's like we were out there putting in the hours and just getting stronger.
Well, you guys have a busy weekend. You guys got to text each other, let each other know that, hey, we're doing well in Bakersfield. We're doing well over here
Well,
in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, the boys, after we're done, we're going straight over. We're gonna
Okay,
go cheer
good.
on our girls, and you know, hopefully they get some wins. You know.
Yeah.
Well, runs
Some
fast. this
points.
weekend.
Plan.
And
Yeah.
good luck the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you.
we'd like to thank Dulce Esquivel and Jordan Riley for joining us here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. And when we come back, we'll be joined with cross-country coach and math professor Mike Kinter.
Cuesta.edu. Television, radio, broadcast, communications. Explore the world of digital communication and tap into your creative genius. Television, radio, broadcast, communications.
This is your boy, the DUI, and you're listening to KGUR.org.
Your digital future is at Cuesta College right now. Log on to Cuesta.edu now for enrollment dates and class information.
Don't get the boom in this shot.
Blowing it, bro.
Cuesta.edu.
Welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. I am joined by Professor and Coach Mike Kinter. Mike, welcome back. I know you've been here once before, but it's been a few years, so welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. How's the team doing out there? We just had Dulce and Jordan.
Yeah, I think they're doing great. There's a lot of really great attitudes out there, and you know, running is a tough sport, and so you can have your ups and downs, but you know, they're on an upswing, and we have about 2 more months until the state meet, and we're on a roll.
Yeah, you guys got the split meet this week with the women going to one spot and the men going to the other. But again, pounding the pavement right now, getting this group ready. They seem to be getting the yardage, the mileage in right now.
They are, and the intervals. You know, the intervals where you run fast and then you take a little break, and then you run fast again, and take a little break, and you do that for 20 to 30 minutes. That's the linchpin of getting fit, and they're into it. So it's not just the mileage, but it's getting into the hard work, the really painful work that simulates what a race is like.
Now, you've been coaching out there for a decade and a half now?
14 years, yeah.
And how long have you been with Cuesta College?
For 22.2 years.
So when did you decide that was going to be, your level of involvement was going to come up to assistant coach? Because
well, when I moved here from the Bay Area, I decided I was going to take a variety of courses because I had more time. I wasn't commuting all the time. So I decided that I tried badminton, I tried swimming, I tried Spanish, and I tried broadcasting, all sorts of courses. And then when I sort of got done with that, I thought, well, what am I going to do next? And it just so happened that Brian Locher was being hired that year. And
a new fresh-faced coach who needed mentoring.
Well, that's the interesting thing about it. I mean, to some extent, I provided some help for him, I think, because he was coming from working with university athletes and professional athletes. And so I wanted to talk to him about what it's like to coach community college athletes that have a lot of commitments, that they don't have as much time necessarily because they have so much going on outside of cross country, academically, academic challenges. Many are coming from out of the county. I mean, they have a lot going on, and so being able to communicate effectively and talking to them about time management and their academics and just what it's like to be in college, it's challenging because we're working with the first 2 years students, not juniors and seniors in college. And so I don't know about you, but when I was in college, I had to figure out a lot my freshman year about how to manage life, not just academically, but athletically and socially. And there's a lot to figure out. And so I think part of our learning curve the first few years was figuring out how to coach not just the athlete but the person.
I was one of those students who came in here as fresh-faced from out of the area many years ago, and so I understand exactly what you're talking about. I think that's one of the things. I don't know if you'll see that same thing, but I think that makes a little bit difference with Cuesta College because we do have so many people who come from out of the area that it makes kind of the college atmosphere changes because you have a more diverse group than rather just a local community college in some places.
Yes, in a lot of ways it's great because we have athletes like Jordan from Santa Helena, and we have another athlete who's from the Sacramento area, and they bring with them a certain amount of just geographic diversity, like you were saying, and I think that adds to the overall spirit of the team. We have some local students that can kind of introduce the out-of-town students to what it's like to live here, and then the out-of-towners give the local students a flavor of what it's like to be, somewhere besides our county.
Well, one of the reasons I really want to talk with you is because you are a very well-respected faculty member, both by the faculty and the students, and I wanted to see your kind of perspective of what we've been going through for the last year and a half or so with COVID, and how has this affected you as a faculty with connecting with your students? Because I mean that's so much of one of the things you do. Your tutoring and all those things are. I always hear from the athletes that I'm going to go see Kinter, and you've had an open door policy with all those students. How has that affected you as a teacher, as a mentor for these kids?
Well, it has been challenging, and I can certainly say in March of 2020, my feeling was like, uh-oh, what do I do now? But
I think a lot of us had that.
yeah, but once I switched over to Zoom, luckily, just having that half semester with my math students made a big difference as far as, we'd already made a connection. And so then the transition to Zoom, I think, was actually not as awkward as it might have been. Now, the next semester, when we started fresh with Zoom, I just did 2-hour Zoom lectures for my courses. It was a little more challenging making that connection, but I tried to encourage my students to keep their cameras on, and I would interrupt in the middle of a teaching moment and check in with each one of them and say, how's it going for you? Are you getting this? And I had breakout rooms where they could communicate with each other, and I did what I could to foster collaboration and sort of a group mentality, because my goal with teaching academics is the same as it is with coaching cross country, which is foster a team attitude where everyone is there for everyone else. And so if students can think of the class as bigger than just themselves and be motivated to help others, then it's better for everyone. So
Yeah,
I would.
You really used the whole Zoom thing. You had the breakout rooms, so
Full
you were able
on.
to do the kind of those tutorings and your one-on-ones,
Yeah.
even with Zoom.
Yes. We had, luckily Cuesta had a really robust student success center that had online tutoring, and they gave students links that allowed them to find it. And I know a lot of students struggled with distance learning in general, but I think, at least the ones on Zoom that I had, I feel like they were about as successful as students I've had any other semester, because they, we kind of had a heart-to-heart the first day, and I said, look, this is the situation. My plan is to make the best of it, and I hope you do too. And I think a lot of them bought into it, and I really feel like at the end of the semester that the amount of learning that took place was as much as any other semester. So I was really happy with how things turned out.
Now, how'd that change for you out on the track? Because we only had one cross-country meet, but I know that you guys were training for a long time. But with the track, is it kind of?
Well, I gotta give a lot of credit to the athletes, because if you think about, we're working with generally 18 to 20-year-olds, and I know at least when I was 18, and maybe it's the same for you, instant gratification was the name of the game, right? And these days,
And you're bulletproof.
What's that? Yes, and you're bulletproof, right? Yeah. So, number one, I give the athletes credit for doing what we asked. Wearing the mask when we asked them to. Just getting tested when we needed them to. I mean, they really followed our requests pretty much to a T, at least at practice. And so, credit to them there, and credit to the cross country and track athletes for in cross country. They trained for months for just one meet. And they did that meet, and they were grateful for that meet. And the track athletes, we only had 3 meets, and we usually have 12 or 13. And again, credit to them. The meets were at the end of the season, and they had to train for, really a lot of them trained the entire year. So that would be 6 months of training without a single official meet to give them that feedback on where they were at. We had informal intra-squad meets that were fine, but it's not the same as competing against other schools. And those track athletes really managed their motivation well. And when it came to the meets that mattered, they did fantastic. And for the first time ever, this didn't get mentioned in the last one, but Dulce was part of the conference-winning track team for women. First conference championship ever. So pretty exciting stuff.
So, I think all these athletes, I think that what they've seen is their attitude was, this is what we need to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And I think it was a great attitude for our students. I think it's important that the coaches kind of fostered that attitude. So thank you very much for joining us here, Mike. And that's it for Cuesta Sports Monthly for this month. We'd like to thank our today's guests, Christelle Moret, Whitney Meyer, Dulce Esquivel, Jordan Riley, and Mike Kinter for joining us. We'd like to thank you for joining us here at Cuesta Sports Monthly for our 11th season of Cuesta Sports Monthly. And remember, to stay up to date with Cuesta College Athletics, check the Cuesta Athletic website at cuestaathletics.com. The show is produced at Cuesta College by the Cuesta Film, Television, and Electronic Media Department as part of the Cuesta TV project. Check out all our broadcasts on YouTube and on Channel 2 on your local cable station. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Cuesta Sports Monthly. Some more questions?